A Wisconsin Supreme Court justice will not recuse herself from an attorney disciplinary case involving former Justice Michael Gableman. Justice Janice Protasiewicz denied Gableman's request to step aside, citing no legal requirement for her recusal. Gableman argued that statements made in a 2022 campaign press release created an appearance of bias. That press release criticized Gableman's conduct related to the 2020 election. Gableman is facing 10 counts of misconduct, including making false statements and obstructing a court order. He has stipulated that he cannot successfully defend against the allegations. The Office of Lawyer Regulations seeking a 3-year suspension of Gableman's law license.